Capricorn, hello and welcome to your winter 2024 into 2025 shape shift reading. We're looking at the shape you're shifting out of, the shape you're shifting into, and what that shape shift looks and feels like for the winter season. I'm Andy, I'm your reader, and I'm joined today by the Wild Chorus Oracle deck by Abacus Corvus. We're going to use this deck to get into your shape shift. This reading is meant to take you through the entire winter season from the winter solstice to the spring equinox. So I recommend that you watch it when it drops at the winter solstice, again midway through the season, and then again at the end of the season so that you can track the through line of your shift along with your lived experience. Trust me, when you watch this reading again after you've already lived through part of the season, it hits different. Okay. Capricorn, let's see what's going on. What is the shift that's happening for your birthday season? Too many. One more, please. Okay. Must be something pretty specific. Oh, wow. Interesting. Huh, okay. Okay, we're gonna get the guidebook out for this. Let's look at this together. So, we have the fox about to pounce through the snow, and the text just says, shh. So there's this like moment of quiet right before the pounce, right before the strike. And then we have asleep in the body's boat, and we see this like figure wrapped up in a blanket, just sort of coasting through the water in nighttime. And then we have this beautiful like glossy-eyed cow face, just like emerging through the flowers with a little bee on its head, and it says before words. This is all extremely physical in the meaning. So there's this vibe of like the before words card, and we'll read it together here in a moment, but it really talks about before like overthinking, before like cognitive processing, before turning our feelings and experiences into language, which then is the vehicle to get them out of our body, we experience them fully in our body. And because you also have asleep in the body's boat, there's something extremely physical going on here for you this winter season. And of course, asleep in the body's boat just talks about this experience of physical surrender and just letting your body rest and just like letting it be carried through an experience. And the fact that it's like shrouded just indicates this time of kind of like needing to go within, needing to pull all of your energy in and just rest and just coast and just let it ride. And then the fox, it's interesting. I mean, the fox is about to discover something. It's this like absolute anticipation, the moment of stillness where it's about to pounce through the snow, penetrate down through the snow to discover hopefully a meal or something of sustenance underneath. But its shadow is really prominently displayed here. So it sort of like has to see it. Is it gonna pounce on itself? Is that what it's actually tracking? So there's a sense of like tracking something. something may be hidden, or something that has not fully been revealed or is being revealed to you this winter that you hadn't previously faced or hadn't previously seen, that is asking you to sort of surrender physically to an experience that will, on the other side of this shift, get you back into your body in a way that is much more like somatically experienced. And the Before Words card with these beautiful spring flowers does indicate, like, by the time you get to spring, there's this like sensuality present. It's so Taurus in its energy, like sweetness and sensuality and maybe even pleasure. But you kind of have to go through this discovering an undiscovered shadow, surrendering to a physical experience, being like carried through something to get to that pleasurable, sensual experience in your body again. Okay, let's read a little bit here. Let's start with the fox and figure out what this pounce is about, this moment before. The keywords: in motion, focus, and quieting the mind, which actually kind of makes sense for the shape shift you're experiencing, which is getting you into your body. Okay. A hunting fox is caught mid-leap, about to pounce on a patch of snow. We can see the fox's shadow, but there's no sign of the rodent that may be hidden underneath. In the crisp, silent air, the fox attunes to what is just below the surface. So you're tuning into something that is not visible, but it's maybe like sensed. The trees in the distance blur. Only what is close at hand, what is most immediate, is of importance right now. This is a moment of instinct, daring, and focus. We don't yet know what the fox will catch or if they are simply poised to fall through the snow into their shadow. It's a precarious moment where any distraction could startle them or scare away their prey. Working with this card, you're being shown a moment in your life where something is already in motion and shouldn't be second guessed. You are mid-leap. Don't get distracted, even if your shadow is daunting. Stay attuned, complete the leap, commit to the course that you have begun or that is already in motion. You may need to quiet your mind. You may need to stop pulling cards for a while until you're on the other side of this question, or just like stop inputting things into your consciousness. Shh is the text that's on the card. It doesn't spill any of its secrets. There is something still hidden in this path underneath the snow, underneath the shadow, something that could go either way. Be a swift, silent river of focus. Abandon what ifs and what next. Sharpen your hope. It's too late for some questions, but too early for others. So find stillness in motion. Whatever you want to know is not ready to be known. Okay, so we're doing this reading here at the beginning of December. Mars has just stationed retrograde in Leo, and things are incredibly martial. This idea of this being a moment of instinct, daring, and focus feels like Mars significations. And the fact that it's like the fox is using all of it's not necessarily trying to think through a process. It's much more guttural. It's using its instincts. That is Mars. That is this hunt, essentially. Using all of its instincts to take action, to go for something, even though there is so much unknown in Mars retrograde that you really don't know what's underneath of that either way, which is also very Mercury retrograde, where by the time this reading drops, we'll have just come off of Mercury retrograde through Sagittarius. And this season, I believe March, April, So by the end of the season, Mercury will have stationed retrograde and will go retrograde through Aries and Pisces. So there's sort of these like Mercury retrogrades, which are times where things need revision, need rethought. Maybe there's like a discovery of something previously unknown that comes to light, that bookends the beginning and the end of the winter season. But so does the Mars retrograde, because we have Mars stationing retrograde right before the beginning of the winter season, and then it will go direct in Cancer, your opposite sign, by the end of the season. So we have two of these major personal planets that are slowing down, that are kind of like staying in place and asking you, maybe with Mars, the more accurate signification is like forcing you to look at something, to really attend to this thing that has been hidden beneath the surface, maybe for some time, that maybe you've been hunting it, maybe you've been trying to find it, trying to find the solution, or trying to figure out something that's going on, maybe in your physical experience, because then we have this very next, essentially the vehicle, the boat that takes you through this shapeshift of riding on instinct, about to discover something maybe really physically important for you, or important in your material realm, something that has eluded you. And then it's like, once you get underneath the snow, this is sort of that experience of like, okay, you've gone down, you've leapt beneath the surface of whatever's going on in your life, whatever this is talking about. And once you're under there, like imagine the experience of a fox just sort of like leaping into probably like 3 or 4 feet of snow and just being like, whew. It's like a suddenly swallowed, asleep in the body's boat. Let's read it. Like suddenly frozen, or suddenly sort of needing to go dormant. Surrender, recovery, and drift. Yeah. Under a starry sky, slipping through the silent water, your boat drifts through the dark. You have very little agency here. Okay, so these two cards together are talking about something where there is something already in motion and there's not much you can do to stop it, because at this point the fox, like the momentum of the body is all, and the instincts and all of those sort of like primal things at work in your life and in your experience, maybe also in your body, are already in motion. That's Mars. Something is already in motion. So this is a situation where you have very little agency. As the undulations of waves rock the boat, you are being carried along by a process that you cannot control. And like the blanketed figure in this boat, you're in a dream space. Surrendering to sleep is a skill we must learn. Parents and caregivers rock and sing and soothe their little ones to sleep. Our minds and bodies often need convincing that it's okay to let go. So again, we're getting this same theme of like, your mind might have some resistance to this, but this is not about your mind right now. This is about your body. And so part of letting your body surrender to this winter experience is quieting the mind, calming the mind, and realizing that like the mental processes are not the thing that will carry you through this. It's okay to let go. This card asks you to surrender. Something is out of your hands, already in motion, and impossible to see from here. You may need to prioritize rest, dreaming, visioning, and not knowing for a time. You may need to release the desire to navigate out of these dark waters and rather trust that you'll see better once the sun rises. Pulling this card draws a sort of veil over whatever answer you're looking for and asks you to dwell instead in the mystery. It may also suggest that you have little to no control over the outcome of your query. So let yourself be soothed and carried. Feel held by the vessel of your body. Follow the cues of your body. Sleep, dream, release control, be swallowed by the mystery. Okay, didn't we just say it's like being swallowed by the snow? So whatever this thing that you are sort of on the verge as the winter begins, maybe you're on the verge of discovering something, or maybe it starts to come out as Mars goes retrograde in the beginning of December 5th, 6th time. You're on the verge of it. And then once you dive into this mystery, and this reading's so physical, it really could have to do with some mysterious thing going on in your body. It's the only thing you can do is surrender to the experience and let your body kind of carry you through this mystery. It's not a mystery that you need to mentally solve. It's not that. It's much more of a surrendering to a process beyond your control, which is often how it feels to be in a body. Those of you that have had any kind of health stuff, you know what I'm talking about. But this is what you're shifting into, the shape you're shifting into before words. Embody, restore, and inner knowing. So there's this this card, the message is shh, quiet the mind, surrender to some sort of recovery. And then we have embodied, restore. So something, it just feels really, really physical. Your body is getting restored through some sort of surrender experience, some sort of experience that is beyond your control. A solemn, soft-eyed cow pushes its face through the spikes of gladiolus flowers to contemplate you. A bee rests briefly on the cow's forehead in a kind of communion. This card is drenched in rich, redolent mysteries of embodiment. We are in a land of milk and nectar, of honey and humming, and the silent, vibrant shouts of ecstasy that are flowers in full bloom. Okay, so we're talking about spring. We're essentially transitioning so obviously in this card, shifting from winter to spring. And that may be the experience in your body, shifting from a winter experience of dormancy and dryness and cold, and we're talking about really Saturn qualities, and Saturn is not made up of the constitution, the temperament that gives life. Saturn is winter. Saturn takes life away, puts it into dormancy and stillness and death for a brief amount of time, so that it can have that time to regenerate and come back in the spring when things are warm and moist and life producing again. That's your shapeshift. It's so, in some ways, so simple, so Capricorn, and very Saturnian. That's your ruler. Okay, cool. To paraphrase E.M. Forster, next to the eternal why, this card holds the eternal yes. You are invited to stitch yourself back into the fabric of direct experience, before language, before abstraction, before what you sense becomes a mental story, before words invites your mind to be captured by your senses. Ground into what you feel. Let pleasure lure you home. As you expand the sensual realm, somatic realm, as you expand your ability to sense and feel and live in your body, your physical experience, you're expanding your nonverbal vocabulary. This card offers sweetness and a deep affirmative to all plans that rely more on your body than your mind. Before words is a nudge to pause any verbal processing and center your sensual experience. Let the song of life drown out the noise of your mind. You have permission to call in pleasure, slowness, and deep nourishment. Feel your feet on the earth. Express yourself non-verbally. Have a snack. Commune. Okay? So we're getting this very consistent message for you, Capricorn, already. And that is out of the head. The head cannot solve the body's experience. The head, the mind cannot solve the body's experience. And that may be very prescient for you this winter. When the body's experience takes over, maybe takes you to a point where there is nothing you can do, no amount of control to wield over what's happening. All you need to do is rest, let go, surrender to the experience, and let yourself find some sort of rest and peace within it. Especially Capricorn, knowing that by the time the spring comes, there is recovery here. There is restoration. There is you experiencing pleasure and sweetness again in your body, communion, connection with other people, maybe through physical experiences together. There is life and aliveness and vitality and wellness on the other side of your winter dormancy. Okay? So we're going to take this reading further now into an extended reading. I've got two other new decks that are here to help. Isabella Rotman's This Might Hurt Tarot and This Might Help Oracle. And so we are going to ask, we're going to let the This Might Hurt show us what might feel difficult this winter, and then This Might Help show us what might help you through it. And since this is your birthday season, let's go ahead and give you a preview of that on this side of things. So, Capricorn, This Might Hurt. Let's hear from the This Might Hurt. Interesting. Hierophant. Yeah, this is sort of bringing me back to like, we see this like a spiritual authority figure here as a pope or like a priest in a temple, sort of like delivering the message from God. It just sort of feels like, again, there's something higher than you. There's some sort of like higher authority, be it the universe, be it, I don't know, a person, a declaration, a message you are receiving that is beyond, it's not coming from you. It's beyond you. It's beyond your control, and you sort of have to like surrender to it. In the context of this like spiritual leader in a temple, it's like, okay, God has delivered this message and we have to go with it. We have to surrender to that. So it sort of feels like there is this sort of like mysterious discovery that is an underlying thread through these cards, through your winter shift. And so there's something here where like the message comes down, and it is one that you kind of just have to surrender to. And this could also talk about something that's happening like beyond you, in the sense that it's happening in the greater society in which you live, that is creating a surrender experience for you. It's like the directive comes down and this is what has to happen. Interesting. Okay, this might help. Too many. This might help. Capricorn. Oh wow, the bonfire. This is just the fire element in this deck. It says an achieved dream. Fire is the element of the suit of wands, which deals with the inspired energy, passion, desire, spirit, creativity. In the Ace of Wands, we see the initial spark of raw creative energy. A fire like this begins with just a spark, but with time, fuel, and proper nurturing, it grows into a thriving flame. When we think about attaining to our dreams, we often imagine crossing a finish line, but achieved dreams become a reality that must actually be lived in. An achieved dream can be a glorious thing. It can grow huge, roaring with life and providing warmth, but don't forget you'll always need to keep adding logs to the fire. So as long as your dream is alive, it will need to be cared for. Goals are achievable here, but they require maintenance and care. Is this still where you want your energy to go? And it's like, maybe that's sort of the underlying message or question to be asking throughout your maybe physical or like embodiment experience over this winter is like, okay, where has your energy been going? Because there's obviously a time over this winter where your energy needs to completely drain, completely level. And so by the end of the winter, it's sort of like, okay, is this a fire that you want to keep feeding? Or have the energy to keep, do you have the energy to keep this going? This dream alive, this thing you've been putting your energy into. Does this feed your mind, body, spirit? Does this continue to make you feel alive and well? Alive and well. There's something in there. There's something about that. Alive and well. Okay. Wellness reading. Wellness check for Capricorn this winter. All right, we're going to keep pulling cards. So if you want to continue and watch the rest of this reading with me, click the link in the description below to take you to the shifting space where we will investigate this reading together over the course of the winter season. We will share the astrology transits as they happen, chat about them in a Discord chat space where we also pull cards for each other and generally support each other's experience of these shifts as they happen through the season. So I hope to see you for the rest of this, Capricorn. Happy birthday. If you want a birthday reading, you know where to find me. All the links in the description below. Take care. Happy winter.